Welcome back to our channel, Coin History Vault. These USA 1-dime coins make people rich. Let's find out why. Don't miss out one of these. Who know a sigil coin make you rich? Let's start this. Coin 1. Today we are stepping back into the golden age of American coinage, a time when every coin was not just money, but a piece of history carefully struck in silver. In this video, hold your breath and listen closely, because we are talking about one of the most mysterious and desirable coins ever produced by the United States of America. The rare Barber 1-dime dated 1894, a coin that continues to shock collectors even today. At first glance, this dime looks simple and elegant. Lady Liberty appears on the front wearing a classical cap, surrounded by the word Liberty and stars that represent the unity of the nation. But do not let its calm appearance fool you. This coin hides a story that very few people truly understand. It was struck during a period when the U.S. Mint was transitioning, experimenting, and quietly creating coins that would later become legends. The Barber dime series itself is famous among collectors, but the 1894 issue stands apart like a whisper from history. Only a very small number were produced, and most of them vanished into circulation, melted, lost, or forgotten forever. This is one of those coins that almost nobody saved at the time, because no one knew how rare it would become. What makes this dime so special is not just its age, but its mysterious origin. Records show that these dimes were struck under unusual circumstances, possibly as a special request or a test run. Some collectors believe they were created to balance mint records, while others believe they were struck for important individuals. This uncertainty makes the coin even more powerful, because mystery increases desire. Errors and striking characteristics play a huge role in the value of this coin. Weak strikes, off-center details, uneven lettering, and subtle die variations can turn an already rare dime into a once-in-a-lifetime discovery. Even tiny differences in the stars, the date spacing, or Liberty's headband can dramatically change collector interest. On this coin, perfection and imperfection both matter. Condition is everything. Most examples that survived show heavy wear, but even worn pieces are considered treasures. Coins with sharper details, original surfaces, and natural toning are almost impossible to find. Collectors dream about owning one, but most will only ever see it in photographs or auctions. This is the type of coin that changes lives. It is not something you casually find every day, but stories exist of old collections, inherited boxes, and forgotten safes where miracles happen. That is why collectors listen carefully to every detail, studying every image, hoping that someday luck and knowledge will meet. This dime is more than silver. It is a symbol of patience, history, and the thrill of the hunt. For coin lovers, it represents the ultimate prize, the moment when passion becomes reward. If you ever see a Barber dime dated 1894, stop everything, examine it closely, and treat it with respect. Coins like this do not come twice. Now listen very carefully, because this part matters the most. The real market value of an authentic Barber 1-dime from 1894 in collectible condition has been recorded at amounts reaching into the hundreds of thousands of dollars, and at major auctions, verified examples have sold for well over $1 million in words, making it one of the most valuable dimes ever created in United States history. If you enjoyed this deep journey into rare American coin history, stay with the channel, because treasures like this are closer than you think. Coin 2. We travel into a fascinating chapter of American coin history, a time when silver still rang with value and every small coin carried the weight of national pride. In your hands, this may look like an ordinary dime, but once you truly understand it, you will realize why the Mercury 1-dime dated 1937 holds a special place in the hearts of collectors around the world. The Mercury dime is one of the most loved designs ever created by the United States of America. It does not actually show the Roman god Mercury, but rather a young Liberty wearing a winged cap, symbolizing freedom of thought. This powerful design alone makes the coin desirable, but the 1937 issue takes things much further. This dime was struck during the final years of the Great Depression, a period when survival mattered more than saving coins. Most people spent these dimes without a second thought. Very few imagined that certain examples from this year would one day become highly valuable collector pieces. what makes the 1937 Mercury dime truly special is the hidden world of rarity and minting mistakes. Some coins were struck with extremely sharp horizontal bands on the reverse, known among collectors as full bands. These full bands show exceptional striking quality, and finding one from this year in strong condition is far more difficult than most people realize. Even more exciting are the mint errors that quietly slipped through the presses. Double details, especially on the date and lettering, weakly struck mint marks, and unusual die cracks can turn a normal dime into a collector dream. Certain mint varieties from this year were produced in much smaller numbers, making them far harder to locate today. Collectors carefully examine the torch on the reverse, the wings on Liberty's cap, and the fine lines in the design. Small details matter greatly. A slight difference in strike strength or die alignment can mean the difference between an ordinary coin and a highly sought-after rarity. Condition plays a massive role in desirability. Most 1937 Mercury dimes show heavy wear, flat details, and loss of original luster. Coins that survived with crisp features, original shine, and minimal handling are extremely scarce. These are the coins that cause excitement when they appear at major auctions. For coin lovers, this dime represents patience and knowledge. It reminds collectors that value often hides in plain sight. Old collections, inherited coin jars, and forgotten albums sometimes contain surprises that were overlooked for decades. That possibility is what keeps collectors searching and listening carefully to every detail. This coin is not just silver. It is history, art, and mystery combined into one small piece of metal. It tells the story of American resilience, craftsmanship, and the thrill of discovery. Anyone passionate about coins understands the feeling of holding something rare, knowing that only a handful of people in the world truly understand its worth. Now listen very carefully, because this is the moment collectors wait for. The real market value of a genuine 1937 Mercury 1 dime depends heavily on condition, mint variety, and strike quality. Well-preserved examples with strong details and special characteristics have sold on the open market for hundreds of dollars, while rare full band or exceptional error examples have reached several thousands of dollars in auction results, written entirely in words. If you love rare American coins and the stories behind them, stay connected, because the next treasure might already be waiting for you. Coin 3, we are opening a small silver door to one of the most emotional moments in American history. This is not just a coin, it is a symbol of an ending and a beginning. The rare Mercury 1 dime dated 1945 was born at the exact moment when the world was changing forever, as the Second World War came to an end. Every detail of this dime carries meaning, memory, and hidden value. The Mercury dime design is admired for its beauty and symbolism. Liberty appears wearing a winged cap, representing freedom of thought, progress, and hope. In 1945, these ideas meant everything. America was stepping out of war, and silver coins like this dime passed through millions of hands during a time of sacrifice and relief. Although many 1945 Mercury dimes were minted, true rarity begins when collectors look closer. Coins from this year were heavily used. Most were worn down by daily spending, making high-quality survivors surprisingly difficult to find. That is where the story becomes exciting for collectors. One of the most important features on this coin is the reverse torch. Collectors search intensely for examples showing strong horizontal bands across the torch. These full band strikes indicate exceptional minting quality, and they are far scarcer than ordinary strikes. Finding a 1945 Mercury dime with clearly separated, sharp bands is not easy, especially in high condition. Mint errors also play a major role in value. Some coins from this year show doubled lettering, light doubling on the date, die cracks running through the design, or weakly struck mint marks. These small imperfections, created during the minting process, transform a common coin into something extraordinary. Errors are fingerprints of history, never repeated exactly the same way. Another factor that drives collector demand is mint location. Certain mint issues from 1945 were produced under intense pressure as mints worked at full speed. This resulted in uneven strikes and limited numbers of high-grade coins. Collectors carefully study Liberty's hair details, the wings on the cap, and the overall surface quality to determine true rarity. for coin lovers, this dime represents the final chapter of the Mercury series, which ended shortly after. That alone adds emotional value. It is the last whisper of a design that many consider the most beautiful dime ever made in the United States. Holding one feels like holding the closing page of a historic book. Many people unknowingly spent these dimes decades ago. Few saved them carefully. That is why today, well-preserved examples feel almost magical when discovered. Stories continue to surface of old albums, family collections, and forgotten boxes revealing hidden treasures from this year. This coin teaches an important lesson to collectors. Value is not always obvious. Sometimes it hides in condition, strike quality, or a tiny error only visible to a careful eye. That is why serious collectors listen closely, study patiently, and never rush past a Mercury dime without looking twice. Now listen very carefully, because this is the part everyone waits for. The real market value of an authentic 1945 Mercury 1 dime depends on mint, condition, and special characteristics. Standard circulated examples are modest, but sharply struck. Well-preserved coins with full bands or notable errors have sold on the market for hundreds of dollars, and exceptional certified examples have reached several thousands of dollars at major auctions, written completely in words. If you truly love rare American coins and the stories hidden inside them, keep watching, because history may already be resting in your pocket. Coin 4. We are talking about a coin that many people overlook, a coin that millions have spent without a second thought, yet one that hides surprising secrets for those who truly understand modern American coinage. This is the United States of America Roosevelt 1 dime dated 1989 with the Philadelphia Mint mark, a coin that proves rarity does not always come from age alone. At first glance, the Roosevelt dime looks familiar. President Franklin Delano Roosevelt appears proudly on the front, a symbol of leadership, strength, and resilience. By 1989, this design had already been part of American daily life for decades. Because of this familiarity, most people never stop to look closely. That is exactly why certain examples from this year have become so interesting to collectors. The Philadelphia Mint produced large numbers of dimes in 1989, but quantity does not always mean quality. During this period, the Mint was operating at high speed, and that is when mistakes happened. Many coins were struck with weak details, improper alignment, or imperfect dies. Only a small percentage were struck cleanly with sharp details, making high-quality examples far scarcer than expected. One of the biggest reasons collectors search for this coin is minting errors. Off-center strikes, doubled lettering on the date and inscriptions, clipped planchets, and die cracks are all known to exist on 1989 Philadelphia dimes. These errors occurred when the minting process briefly failed, creating unique coins that can never be duplicated. Each error tells its own story. Another factor that increases collector interest is condition rarity. Most 1989 dimes entered circulation immediately and were heavily used. Finding one today with original mint luster, clean surfaces, and strong detail is far more difficult than people realize. Coins that appear ordinary at first can suddenly become extraordinary when examined closely. Collectors also pay close attention to strike strength. Sharp facial features on Roosevelt, crisp lettering, and a well-defined torch on the reverse separate average coins from premium examples. Even slight differences in metal flow and die pressure can dramatically affect desirability. For modern coin collectors, this dime represents a challenge. It teaches patience, knowledge, and careful observation. It reminds coin lovers that treasures are not always ancient or silver. Sometimes they are hiding in plain sight, waiting for the right eyes to recognize them. Many exciting discoveries come from rolls, old collections, or pocket change. Stories continue to surface of collectors finding rare error dimes from this year in unexpected places. That possibility is what keeps the hunt alive and makes modern coins just as thrilling as classic ones. This coin also represents a shift in American history. It comes from a time of change, when the United States was entering a new era economically and culturally. Holding this dime is like holding a small piece of that transition, frozen in metal. Now listen very carefully, because this is the part every collector waits for. The real market value of a 1989 Roosevelt 1 dime from the Philadelphia Mint depends heavily on condition and error type. Normal circulated examples are common, but certified high-grade coins and verified error varieties have sold in the real market for tens of dollars, while rare and dramatic error examples have reached several hundreds of dollars, and in exceptional cases have crossed into over $1,000 in auction results, written fully in words that if you truly love coins and the hidden stories they carry, stay alert, because even the smallest dime can hold a big surprise. Coin 5. We are focusing on a coin that many people have held in their hands without ever realizing what it could become. A coin that comes from a powerful moment in American history, when change was quietly happening inside the minting process itself. This is the United States of America rare Roosevelt 1 dime dated 1970 with the Denver Mint mark, a coin that proves even modern dimes can carry serious collector value. The Roosevelt dime design honors President Franklin Delano Roosevelt, a symbol of leadership and endurance. By 1970, this design was already familiar to Americans, which caused most people to ignore these coins completely. They were spent, dropped into jars, and forgotten. That lack of attention is exactly why certain examples from this year are now so fascinating to collectors. 1970 was an important period for U.S. coinage. Silver had already been removed from dimes just a few years earlier, and the mint was adjusting to new metal compositions and faster production demands. The Denver Mint was working at high speed, and when speed increases, precision sometimes suffers. This is where rarity begins. One of the biggest reasons collectors search for the 1970 Roosevelt dime is minting errors. Off-center strikes are known from this year, where part of the design appears missing or shifted. Some examples show doubled lettering on the date or inscriptions, while others display die cracks that cut through Roosevelt's portrait or the torch on the reverse. These errors are permanent records of a brief failure in the minting process. Another exciting variety comes from weak or uneven strikes. Some coins show soft facial details, faded lettering, or poorly defined torch bands. While weak strikes are common, finding one combined with excellent surface condition can make a coin far more desirable. Collectors carefully study these details under magnification. Condition rarity plays a huge role in value. Most 1970 dimes entered circulation immediately and were used heavily for decades. Finding one today with strong mint luster, clean fields, and minimal contact marks is surprisingly difficult. High-grade examples stand out instantly to experienced collectors. What makes this coin especially interesting is that it teaches patience. Many collectors build entire roll-searching habits around dates like this, knowing that hidden gems still exist. Stories continue to surface of collectors discovering rare error dimes from this year in old bank rolls or inherited collections. For coin lovers, this dime represents possibility. It reminds us that rarity is not always about age or precious metal. Sometimes it is about survival, condition, and tiny details that most people never notice. This is why serious collectors listen closely, examine carefully, and never underestimate a Roosevelt dime. This coin also reflects a changing America. The early 1970s were a time of economic and cultural transition. Holding this dime is like holding a small piece of that era, preserved quietly in metal, waiting for someone to recognize its story. Now listen very carefully, because this is the moment collectors wait for. The real market value of an authentic 1970 Roosevelt 1 dime from the Denver Mint depends on condition and error type. Normal circulated examples remain modest, but certified high-grade coins and confirmed error varieties have sold on the real market for tens of dollars, while strong error examples and top-condition pieces have reached several hundreds of dollars, and in rare auction cases have approached over $1,000, written completely in words that if you truly love American coins and the hidden history they carry, keep watching closely, because even an ordinary-looking dime can turn into an extraordinary discovery. Coin 6. This is the United States of America Roosevelt 1 dime from 1974 with the Denver Mint mark. At first glance it looks ordinary, but the deeper you listen, the more surprising this coin becomes. So stay with me, listen very carefully, because this dime may change the way you look at your loose change forever. The Roosevelt dime was created to honor President Franklin Delano Roosevelt, a leader remembered for strength, courage, and leadership during difficult times. By 1974, the United States was going through economic challenges, rising inflation, and major changes in daily life. Coins from this period reflect that era, and the Denver Mint played a huge role in producing dimes for everyday circulation. Millions were made, but only a small number survived in special conditions that collectors now search for passionately. The 1974 D dime is made from a copper and nickel-clad composition, meaning it has a copper core with outer layers of nickel. This metal structure may seem common, but it is exactly this structure that led to some of the most interesting and valuable minting errors. When the minting process is rushed or machinery is misaligned, magic can happen for collectors. One of the most exciting things about this dime is the possibility of striking errors. Some coins were struck off-center, causing part of the design to be missing. Others show double images on the date, the word liberty, or the motto "In God We Trust." These double details are not damage from circulation, but real mint errors created during the striking process. Collectors pay close attention to these details using magnification and proper lighting. Another highly desirable feature is a weak or missing mint mark. On some 1974 D dimes, the D mint mark is faint or partially missing due to grease-filled dies. This type of error makes the coin stand out immediately to experienced collectors. There are also cases of die cracks, where thin raised lines appear across the coin, showing the stress and wear of minting equipment at the time. Condition plays a massive role in value. A circulated example that has been used for decades may only be worth face value. But a dime that has sharp details, full torch bands on the reverse, strong lettering, and original mint luster can move into an entirely different category. Full torch bands are especially important on Roosevelt dimes, as they indicate a strong strike and excellent preservation. Some 1974 D dimes were saved directly from mint rolls and never entered circulation. These coins show mirror-like surfaces, crisp edges, and beautiful shine. When certified by professional grading services, these high-grade examples become extremely desirable, especially when combined with errors or exceptional strike quality. For collectors, this coin represents more than money. It represents history, craftsmanship, and the thrill of discovery. Imagine finding a small silver-colored dime in an old jar, examining it closely, and realizing it holds a story that most people overlook. That feeling is what makes coin collecting so addictive and rewarding. Many collectors recommend checking every dime slowly and carefully. Look at the date. Look at the mint mark. Look for doubling, cracks, and unusual textures. Even the smallest difference can turn an everyday coin into a collector treasure. Now let us talk about value, because this is what everyone waits for. A normal circulated 1974 D Roosevelt dime is usually worth only its face value. However, uncirculated examples with strong strikes and full torch bands can be worth several dollars in the real market. High-grade certified examples have sold at auction for amounts reaching into the tens of dollars. Error coins such as double die, off-center strikes, or major mint mark anomalies have achieved auction prices ranging from dozens of dollars to several $100s depending on condition and rarity. So the next time you see a dime, do not rush. Hold it. Look at it. Because sometimes history, rarity, and value are hiding in the smallest places. Coin 7. We are stepping into the modern era of American coinage to uncover a dime that most people overlook because it feels too new to be valuable. The United States of America Roosevelt 1 dime from 2016 with the Philadelphia Mint mark is a coin many people still spend every day. But what if I told you that this simple-looking dime can become a serious collector piece when the right details come together? So relax, stay focused, and listen carefully, because modern coins can be just as exciting as classic ones. The Roosevelt dime has been part of American life for decades, honoring Franklin Delano Roosevelt, a president remembered for leadership and compassion. By 2016, minting technology had become highly advanced, which means errors became less common. And when errors become rare, collectors become more interested. That is exactly why certain 2016 P dimes are gaining attention in the coin collecting world. This coin is made from a copper core with outer layers of nickel, designed for durability and daily use. The Philadelphia Mint produced millions of these dimes, but only a tiny percentage were struck perfectly, and an even smaller number were struck imperfectly in ways that collectors love. The hunt is not about how many were made, but how many survived with unique features. One of the most important things collectors look for on the 2016 P dime is strike quality. A strong strike reveals sharp details on Roosevelt's hair, clear lettering in Liberty, and a bold torch on the reverse. Full torch bands are especially important. When the horizontal bands on the torch are fully separated and sharp, it signals a premium quality strike that collectors actively search for. Errors are where this dime truly becomes exciting. Some examples show double die features, where the date, inscriptions, or design elements appear slightly doubled due to misalignment during the die creation process. These are not scratches or damage, but true mint errors. Other dimes show off-center strikes, clipped planchets, or die cracks that appear as raised lines across the surface. Another interesting feature found on some 2016 P dimes is strike-through errors. These occur when foreign material like grease or debris interferes during striking, leaving missing details or unusual textures. These errors make each coin unique, which is exactly what collectors desire. Modern error coins are especially attractive because they prove that even advanced minting technology is not perfect. Condition is everything. A circulated example that has traveled through countless hands may hold only face value. But an uncirculated coin with original mint luster, smooth fields, and sharp edges can move into collectible territory. Coins that were saved in mint rolls or bags and never used are the ones collectors fight for today. Professional grading adds another layer of importance. When a 2016 P Roosevelt dime is graded and authenticated, especially with full torch bands or dramatic errors, it gains credibility and confidence in the marketplace. Collectors want assurance, and certification provides that trust. For coin lovers, this dime represents something special. It proves that you do not need a coin from the 1900s to build an exciting collection. Modern coins tell the story of precision, technology, and the rare moments when something unexpected happens at the mint. Finding one of these dimes in your change feels like winning a small treasure hunt. Always check your dimes carefully. Use a magnifier. Study the date, the mint mark, and the torch. Look for doubling, cracks, missing details, or unusual shapes. Many valuable modern coins are discovered by everyday people who simply take the time to look. Now let us talk about value, because this is the moment everyone waits for. A normal circulated 2016 P Roosevelt dime is usually worth only its face value. Uncirculated examples with strong strikes can be worth a few dollars in the real market. Certified full torch band examples have achieved auction prices reaching into the tens of dollars. Dramatic and verified error coins from this year have sold at auction for amounts ranging from several dozen dollars to several $100 depending on rarity and condition. So before you spend your next dime, remember this. Sometimes the newest coins hide the most surprising stories.